When travelers begin their journey into the countryside of Trinidad and Tobago, the first noticeable change is how the landscape gradually opens up from the urban rhythm into wide, green spaces that stretch across quiet hills and farmlands where the air feels warmer and less hurried. The drive moves past organized neighborhoods into smaller settlements where the streets become narrower and lined with fruit trees, roadside stands, and small family homes built with color and personality. The scenery is calm, and the transition from the city to the countryside happens so naturally that it feels like entering a slower and more connected part of the islands rather than stepping away from modern life. The infrastructure remains impressive, with paved roads and reliable signs that guide travelers deeper into forested areas or toward coastal villages where fewer tourists go. Along the way, locals can be seen walking or cycling, greeting others casually, sometimes stopping by a fruit stall to pick up coconuts, pineapples, or homemade snacks. It's clear that life here flows at its own pace, shaped more by daylight and weather than by schedules or crowds. There's no sense of isolation, just a steady rhythm that makes everything feel grounded and authentic. As the vehicle moves deeper into the countryside, the weather begins to show its true Caribbean character: bright sunlight one moment, soft clouds the next, and short, refreshing rain showers that come and go quickly without interrupting daily routines. The warmth is consistent, hovering between what feels comfortable and tropical, and travelers often find themselves adjusting easily to the climate once they embrace its natural flow. Locals go about their work without noticing the changes, used to the pattern of sun and rain that keeps their crops alive and their surroundings lush. The air after a light rain smells clean and earthy, not overly humid, and visibility remains clear for long drives. The roads, even in rural areas, are generally smooth and well maintained, with only the occasional gravel section near forested paths or far-flung beaches. Guides often remind visitors to wear breathable clothing, comfortable shoes, and to carry a light rain jacket instead of heavy gear, since the weather moves fast and rarely lasts long enough to disrupt a tour. Most travelers are surprised to discover how accessible these remote areas are, with tours operating daily from both Trinidad and Tobago that cater to people looking for authentic countryside experiences. Local drivers know the routes well, and many work independently, offering affordable day trips that include multiple stops, from forest trails and rivers to local eateries and hidden beaches. Prices are reasonable, especially when compared to the cost of structured hotel tours, and travelers often comment that the personal attention from these small operators makes the experience feel more natural and genuine. Hiring a local guide not only helps support the community but also gives visitors insights they would never get otherwise, such as which trails are safe after rain, which beaches are calm enough for swimming, and where the best homemade food can be found. It's a system built on trust and reputation, and because the tourism here isn't overcrowded, guides take their time to make sure guests truly experience the countryside rather than rushing through it. Driving through rural Trinidad feels like seeing another side of the islands, not less developed, but more personal and grounded in tradition. Small villages appear along the way, often with neatly painted houses surrounded by gardens where locals grow herbs, vegetables, and fruit for home use. Children play outside while adults sit under shade, chatting or preparing meals for the day. There's a sense of community that's quiet but very real, where everyone seems to know what's happening around them without it ever feeling intrusive or chaotic. The atmosphere is friendly, and visitors who stop to buy snacks or fruits often find themselves in short conversations with vendors about where they're from or what they've seen so far. It's these brief exchanges that give the countryside its charm, genuine interaction without performance or pretense. The forests of Trinidad and Tobago are one of the country's most underappreciated treasures, and touring them offers an entirely new understanding of the islands beyond beaches and festivals. Many forest trails are maintained by local communities or small tour groups, ensuring that paths remain safe, clean, and clearly marked. A walk through these forests reveals layers of green, where tall trees form canopies that filter the sunlight into a gentle glow rather than harsh brightness. The air feels slightly cooler beneath the leaves, filled with the sound of birds, insects, and distant rivers flowing through rocky bends. Guides explain the plants and their uses, some for cooking, others for natural medicine, showing how knowledge of the land remains strong among rural communities. Travelers often comment on how peaceful it feels, hearing only footsteps and nature without loud chatter or artificial music. It's the kind of calm that can't be staged, just naturally present. One of the most rewarding parts of countryside exploration is visiting hidden beaches that stretch beyond the main tourist routes, where the coastline feels almost untouched but still perfectly safe and welcoming. These are beaches reached by winding forest roads or small fishing paths, where the sand may be slightly darker and the waves quieter, and where you'll find a handful of locals preparing to fish rather than crowds of sunbathers. The water remains clean and calm in most areas, and the surroundings are dotted with small wooden huts or beach shacks selling freshly made food. Visitors quickly realize that this is where the real coastal life happens, where families gather on weekends, cook together, and spend the day by the sea without noise or stress. It's not luxury, but it's deeply satisfying in its simplicity. Trying beach food in these areas is an experience on its own, far different from restaurants in the city or resort buffet. The dishes are cooked in front of you, are bacon shark, grilled fish, crab and dumpling, or roasted corn, each prepared with fresh ingredients and seasoned in a traditional local way. The smell of frying fish mixes with the sea breeze, and the portions are generous while the prices remain fair, often costing less than a snack in a city cafe. People eat standing or sitting on benches, talking casually as they enjoy the food and the view. There's no rush to leave, and no one tries to sell more than what's offered. It's simply about good food, shared moments, and genuine connection. Every traveler who stops to eat at one of these places leaves with the same impression. That food tastes better when it's cooked by someone who enjoys doing it without pretense. Beyond the beaches, there are many rural areas known for small local restaurants where traditional dishes are served daily, often by families who have been cooking the same recipes for decades. Meals like roti, palau, doubles, and kalaloo are served in simple portions but carry rich flavors that define Trinidad and Tobago's culinary identity. In the countryside, these places don't need decoration or marketing. People come because of trust and taste. The owners often greet customers personally, sometimes explaining how ingredients come from nearby farms or markets. The entire process feels transparent and honest, reminding visitors that food here is part of life, not a show. It's easy to see how locals balance modern life with traditions without forcing one to replace the other. When it comes to weather and timing, locals often advise travelers to plan their countryside visits during the dry months when roads are more stable and river water remains clear and low, ideal for walking or river bathing. However, even in the wetter months, most tours continue safely because the infrastructure is strong and guides are experienced with seasonal patterns. Occasional rainfall actually enhances the scenery, making leaves greener, air cleaner, and temperatures cooler. Most vehicles used for countryside tours are equipped for mixed terrain, ensuring smooth travel regardless of conditions. Safety measures are consistent, and guides carry communication tools or first aid kits even on short hikes. The goal is to make exploration safe without removing its natural spontaneity. Accessibility is one of the biggest surprises for visitors exploring rural Trinidad and Tobago because even though the areas feel remote, they are never far from comfort or help. Cellular service works in most areas, small shops sell essentials, and transport options are always within reach. Travelers can rent cars, hire drivers, or join small tour groups that operate year-round. Unlike other regions where countryside exploration might mean isolation, here it means connection to people, culture, and nature at once. Roads are signposted, fuel stations appear often enough for long drives, and the locals willingly guide visitors if directions are unclear. It's a balance between adventure and convenience that makes these areas perfect for slow exploration. What sets these countryside regions apart is not just the scenery but the way life is lived, naturally, steadily, and with visible appreciation for small things. The sound of roosters in the morning, children playing near the river, and families preparing meals outside create a sense of life that feels genuine and content. There's no rush to modernize every corner. Instead, progress exists quietly, maintaining balance between tradition and comfort. The countryside isn't frozen in time, it simply moves at a pace that allows space for living, working, and relaxing. Visitors who come here often find themselves feeling less like tourists and more like participants in a lifestyle that values presence over activity. The local markets scattered across these regions offer a direct look into how communities sustain themselves. Stalls display piles of fresh produce, spices, and handmade items without unnecessary polish or arrangement, yet everything looks clean, colorful, and cared for. Prices are fair, and vendors usually encourage sampling before buying, turning each visit into a relaxed interaction rather than a commercial exchange. Many of the items sold here, from coconut oil to local sauces, are made by families who have been perfecting their craft for generations. The experience of shopping or just walking through these markets adds texture to the countryside journey. It's lively but not loud, filled with people who take pride in what they make. In some areas, visitors find artisans working in small open workshops where crafts like wood carvings, jewelry, pottery, and woven baskets are made using materials sourced locally. These are not tourist-targeted souvenirs but real, usable items that serve daily purposes while carrying cultural value. Watching an artisan carve or weave while explaining the meaning behind patterns gives a sense of how creativity and culture stay alive in these quiet places. The prices are accessible, and buyers often leave with more than an item. They carry a story about the person who made it. Such interactions show how the countryside economy thrives through skill and honesty rather than scale or speed. Throughout the journey, one thing remains constant: the hospitality of people who live in these rural regions. Whether it's a vendor offering an extra fruit, a guide explaining a plant, or a homeowner inviting a traveler to taste local food, there's a natural kindness that doesn't feel rehearsed. Locals take pride in their environment and appreciate when visitors show respect and curiosity rather than judgment or hurry. This quiet mutual respect is what makes countryside travel in Trinidad and Tobago so memorable. It's about connection without exaggeration, comfort without excess, and beauty without artificial gloss. As evening approaches in the countryside of Trinidad and Tobago, the day begins to wind down, not with noise or hurry, but with a calm shift in rhythm that feels as natural as the sunrise that began it. The light softens, the air cools slightly, and people start closing their small shops or returning from work in nearby farms or fishing spots. Roads that were busy with daytime movement grow quieter, yet remain safe and well lit in most villages. Travelers often find this time of day perfect for casual walks, as the humidity drops and the scent of cooked food drifts from open kitchens or roadside stalls. It's during these hours that the countryside reveals its most peaceful character, where families gather outdoors, children laugh near the street, and even the dogs seem relaxed as they wander lazily near familiar faces. Nighttime in rural Trinidad and Tobago isn't silent or isolated, it's simply steady and calm, with small gatherings replacing daytime activity. Many locals sit outside under dim porch lights, talking or listening to music at a soft volume while preparing light evening meals. Visitors who stay overnight in countryside guest houses or homestays often comment on how safe and comforting the evenings feel, where the darkness doesn't bring unease but a sense of belonging. The sounds that fill the air are natural: crickets, distant conversation, and the occasional car passing by. Electricity is stable, and accommodations, though modest, are generally clean, reliable, and managed by families who treat guests like extended relatives. It's an environment where travelers can rest without feeling detached from the world, surrounded by a balance of quiet and life. Many who spend more than a day exploring these areas discover a deeper connection through food. Breakfast in the countryside is rarely rushed. It's often served outdoors with items like bake, salt fish, eggs, or fried plantains made fresh in simple kitchens. The smell of coffee or cocoa tea fills the air, sometimes prepared with locally grown ingredients that give each sip a rich, earthy flavor. Eating here isn't about presentation or luxury, it's about freshness and tradition. Even simple items like bread and butter taste different because of how they're made, by hand, in small batches, using ingredients grown or sourced nearby. These quiet morning meals reflect the strength of the local culture, one built on simplicity, effort, and pride in doing ordinary things well. Later in the day, food becomes a shared experience rather than a quick necessity. Villages often have open food spots where neighbors gather, not as customers but as friends. Travelers can easily join these moments without feeling out of place, welcomed by locals who enjoy explaining dishes and suggesting what to try. Meals like palau cooked in large pots or fresh seafood grilled near the beach bring everyone together, blending conversation and flavor naturally. Prices remain reasonable, and visitors quickly notice that generosity matters more than profit here. Plates are filled generously, and when someone runs out, another serving usually follows without being asked. It's this kind of unspoken hospitality that defines Trinidad and Tobago's countryside dining culture: honest, generous, and focused on people rather than appearance. Exploring the natural side of the islands continues to be one of the highlights for travelers who go beyond the main routes.